Imagine walking through life completely unfazed. Criticism bounces off you, setbacks don't crush you, and other people's opinions have no power over you. This isn't fantasy, it's a skill you can master. Every day, thousands of people let their emotions control them. A harsh comment crushes their confidence. A rejection derails their week. Small setback feels like the end of the world. But what separates the truly powerful from the rest isn't fewer problems, it's how they respond to those problems. Picture this. Two people face identical criticism. The first person spirals into self-doubt, losing sleep, replaying the moment endlessly, seeking validation from others. The second person acknowledges the feedback, extracts anything valuable, then continues their day unaffected. Same situation, dramatically different outcomes. The difference? Emotional mastery. In ancient Stoic philosophy, this power was called apatheia, not apathy, but freedom from destructive emotions. The Stoics understood that true strength came not from avoiding life's storms, but from building an internal shelter so robust that no storm could touch what matters most: your inner peace. We live in a world designed to hijack your emotions. Social media algorithms feed on outrage and insecurity. News cycles profit from fear and anxiety. Advertising exploits your deepest insecurities. Everywhere you turn, someone or something is trying to make you react, and when you react automatically, you hand over your power. Think about the last time you were truly upset. Perhaps someone questioned your abilities at work, or a friend made a thoughtless comment. How much energy did you spend on that emotion? How many hours of your life disappeared into that emotional vortex? Now imagine reclaiming all that time and energy. Imagine redirecting it toward your goals, your growth, your joy. This isn't about becoming cold or unfeeling. Quite the opposite. This is about emotional intelligence at its highest level, choosing which emotions serve you and which ones don't. It's about creating space between stimulus and response. In that space where your freedom and power reside. I discovered this principle during the most challenging period of my life. Everything was falling apart: career setbacks, relationship troubles, financial pressure. Each morning, I woke to a fresh avalanche of problems. My natural response was anxiety, anger, desperation, emotional reactions that only made everything worse. Then I encountered a mentor who seemed impossibly calm amid chaos. When I asked his secret, he said something I'll never forget. I've learned that my reaction to a problem is usually worse than the problem itself. Those words changed everything for me. I began observing how my emotional reactions amplified my suffering. The problem might last minutes, but my reaction could poison days or weeks. I started practicing emotional detachment, not from life, but from the automatic reactions that were draining my energy and clouding my judgment. The results were transformative. Problems didn't disappear, but my ability to solve them improved dramatically. When you're not drowning in emotional reactions, your mind becomes clear, creative, strategic. You see options invisible to those caught in emotional turbulence. Even more surprising were the social benefits. People began treating me differently. Without realizing it, I'd been training others how to treat me through my reactions. When I stopped reacting so intensely to slights or criticisms, people stopped using those buttons to manipulate me. My relationships improved. My leadership strengthened. All because I learned to master indifference toward things that didn't deserve my emotional energy. The greatest misconception about emotional mastery is that it makes you passive or weak. Nothing could be further from the truth. When you're not exhausting yourself with unnecessary emotional reactions, you have tremendous energy for meaningful action. Your responses become choices rather than compulsions. You move through life strategically rather than reactively. In today's world, emotional self-control is a superpower. While others are triggered, outraged, and distracted, the person who maintains their composure gains extraordinary advantages. They make better decisions. They build stronger relationships. They preserve their energy for what truly matters. In this video, I'll show you how to build an emotional fortress that nothing can penetrate. You'll learn to master the art of indifference, not caring less, but caring wisely, because when you control your reactions, you control your life. I'll share specific techniques drawn from ancient wisdom and modern psychology, practical methods you can implement immediately. You'll discover how to remain calm when provoked, how to evaluate whether something deserves your emotional energy, and how to free yourself from the prison of other people's opinions. This isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about choosing them. It's about developing the discernment to know which emotional responses serve your highest purpose and which ones simply drain your life force. By the end of our journey together, you'll understand why the most powerful people throughout history, from Marcus Aurelius to modern leaders, have cultivated this skill. You'll see why emotional mastery is the foundation of every other success in life, and most importantly, you'll have the tools to begin building this power for yourself. Are you ready to stop being controlled by external circumstances? Are you ready to reclaim your emotional sovereignty? Let's begin. The strongest people you know have one thing in common. They don't react to everything. They've mastered emotional detachment, the ability to observe without absorbing. First, understand this truth. Most things that upset you simply don't matter. That criticism from a stranger, forgotten in a week. That embarrassing moment, no one remembers it but you. That rejection, a redirection to something better. When someone insults you, your instinct is to defend yourself. But what happens when you smile and walk away instead? You take away their power completely. They expected a reaction. When they don't get one, they're left empty-handed while you walk away stronger. This principle operates in every arena of life. In business negotiations, the person who appears less invested often gains the upper hand. In personal relationships, neediness repels while independence attracts. In conflict, the one who maintains composure usually prevails. Emotional detachment is not just a psychological skill, it's strategic advantage. Consider the concept of the emotional bank account. Every time you react strongly to something trivial, you make a withdrawal. Your emotional resources are finite. The average person depletes their account on insignificant triggers, a rude driver, an insensitive comment, a minor inconvenience. By day's end, they have nothing left for what truly matters: their goals, their loved ones, their personal growth. The emotionally masterful person, however, makes conscious choices about where to invest their emotional energy. They maintain a surplus in their account, ready for life's meaningful moments. They experience the same provocations as everyone else, but choose different responses. Let me share a personal example. Early in my career, I worked with a particularly difficult colleague who seemed determined to provoke me. Every meeting included subtle jabs and undermining comments. Initially, I took the bait. I'd leave these interactions frustrated, distracted, unable to focus on my work. One day, I realized this person was living rent-free in my mind. They spent 5 minutes trying to provoke me, but I spent hours mentally responding. That's when I decided to experiment with indifference. The next time they made a provocative comment, instead of defending myself, I simply nodded slightly and returned to the topic at hand. No defense, no counterattack, no visible reaction whatsoever. The result was remarkable. They became increasingly uncomfortable with my non-reaction. Within weeks, the provocations decreased, then stopped entirely. I hadn't changed them. I'd changed my response. And that changed everything. Here's how to start practicing this mindset. The pause technique. When something triggers you, pause. Take 3 deep breaths. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? If not, let it go immediately. This simple practice creates space between stimulus and response. In that space lies your freedom. The pause technique works because most emotional reactions occur automatically beneath conscious awareness. By deliberately inserting a pause, you bring consciousness to the process. You transform an unconscious reaction into a conscious choice. Start small. Practice with minor irritations, traffic, small inconveniences, minor rudeness. As your pause muscle strengthens, you can apply it to increasingly challenging situations. Reframe criticism. See criticism as information, not attacks. Filter what's useful, discard what isn't. No emotional attachment needed. When receiving criticism, mentally separate the person from their feedback. Ask yourself, is there anything valuable here I can use? If yes, extract it gratefully. If no, discard it without emotional residue. Either way, you benefit. Remember that criticism often reveals more about the critic than the criticized. Harsh critics are frequently projecting their own insecurities. Understanding this makes their words less personal and more anthropological. Interesting human behavior to observe, rather than daggers to your self-worth. Choose your battles. Not everything deserves your energy. Save your reactions for what truly matters. Smile and move on from the rest. Develop a mental hierarchy of what deserves your emotional investment. Family well-being, worth your energy. Career advancement, worth your energy. A stranger's opinion, probably not. A minor setback, probably not. Make this hierarchy explicit. Actually write down what deserves your emotional energy and what doesn't. Review this list regularly until it becomes instinctive. Before reacting to anything, ask, is this on my list of things worth my precious emotional resources? Silence as power. When provoked, try saying nothing. Your silence creates discomfort for others while you remain in control. Remember, the one who speaks less often holds more power. Most people cannot tolerate silence. They will fill it with words, often revealing more than they intended. By remaining silent when provoked, you gain information while giving away nothing. You maintain your position while they weaken theirs. Practice this in low-stakes situations before applying it to important ones. Notice how others respond to your silence. Notice how it feels to hold your words rather than releasing them. Reflexive. Detach from outcomes. Focus on what you can control, your actions, not the results. When you release attachment to specific outcomes, disappointment loses its grip on you. Set goals and work toward them with full effort, but hold the results lightly. Understand that many factors beyond your control influence outcomes. Your job is to bring your best effort consistently. The results will follow over time. This perspective transforms failure from devastation to data. When things don't work out as planned, instead of emotional collapse, you simply gather information for your next attempt. The world respects those who remain calm in chaos. When you master your emotions, you command authority without saying a word. Your composure becomes your superpower. Consider how we naturally defer to the person who maintains composure in a crisis. Their calmness signals competence and trustworthiness. This is why emotional mastery accelerates leadership advancement. People naturally follow those who demonstrate emotional control. This doesn't mean suppressing authentic feelings. It means processing them efficiently rather than being consumed by them. The emotionally masterful person feels deeply but recovers quickly. They experience the full spectrum of human emotion, but aren't imprisoned by any single feeling. Developing indifference requires understanding what truly matters. The Stoics practiced a meditation called negative visualization, imagining losing what they valued most. This practice helped them distinguish between essential and non-essential concerns. When you're clear about what truly matters, you naturally become indifferent to trivial provocations. Start building your emotional fortress by identifying your current triggers. What consistently disrupts your peace? Criticism of your work, perceived disrespect, comparison with others. Understanding your specific vulnerabilities is the first step toward transcending them. Then, practice progressive exposure. Deliberately seek small doses of what triggers you, applying your new response techniques. Just as physical immunity develops through exposure to small pathogen doses, emotional resilience develops through managed exposure to triggers. Remember that this is a practice, not a perfect. You'll have setbacks. You'll react emotionally to things you later wish you'd ignored. When this happens, avoid the second arrow. Don't berate yourself for having human reactions. Simply notice what happened, learn from it, and recommit to your practice. The path to emotional mastery isn't about never feeling negative emotions. It's about feeling them briefly, processing them effectively, and returning to clarity quickly. It's about choosing which emotions deserve your full engagement and which ones don't serve your highest purpose. As you develop this skill, you'll notice something surprising. Your positive emotions actually deepen. By not squandering emotional energy on petty irritations, you have more capacity for joy, gratitude, and love. Your emotional life becomes richer even as you become more selective about what affects you. Imagine yourself 1 year from now, moving through life with unshakable confidence. Criticism that once devastated you now barely registers. Setbacks that once crushed you now just redirect you. This transformation isn't instant, it's built through daily practice. Each time you choose not to react, you grow stronger. Each time you remain calm when others expect emotion, you gain power. The journey to emotional mastery follows a predictable path. At first you'll catch yourself after reacting. I wish I hadn't gotten so upset about that. Then you'll catch yourself during reactions. I'm getting triggered right now, but I can choose differently. Finally, you'll catch yourself before reacting. This would normally upset me, but I'm choosing a different response. Each stage represents significant growth. Celebrate your progress rather than expecting perfection. Even reducing recovery time from emotional reactions constitutes real improvement. Perhaps criticism used to affect you for days. Now it's hours. That's progress worth acknowledging. As you continue this practice, you'll discover that emotional mastery creates a positive feedback loop. Your relationships improve because you're no longer reactive. Your decision-making improves because emotions aren't clouding your judgment. Your energy increases because you're not wasting it on unnecessary emotional process. People will notice the change in you. They may not be able to identify exactly what's different, but they'll sense your newfound strength. Some will be drawn to your stability. Others, particularly those who benefited from your reactivity, may test you, trying to provoke the old responses. This testing is actually confirmation of your growth. Your journey toward emotional mastery will reveal uncomfortable truths. You may discover how much of your identity has been built around being easily offended or highly reactive. You may realize how many of your relationships depend on shared emotional reactivity, commiserating about the same triggers. Some relationships may not survive your transformation. This is normal. As you change, your relationship to everything changes. Some connections will deepen, while others naturally fall away. Trust this process. The relationships that remain will be healthier, more authentic, and more supportive of your continued growth. Start small. The next time someone criticizes you, pause before responding. The next time something minor annoys you, let it slide. Build this muscle daily. Set specific challenges for yourself. Perhaps commit to not complaining for 24 hours, or practice responding with genuine curiosity instead of defensiveness when receiving feedback, or experiment with complete non-reaction when someone tries to provoke you. Document your journey. Keep a simple log of triggers and responses. Note what worked and what didn't. This documentation serves two purposes. It reinforces your commitment to the practice, and it provides valuable data about your progress over time. Find accountability partners, others committed to emotional mastery. Share challenges and victories. Offer support when they struggle. Request support when you do. While this journey is ultimately personal, community accelerates growth. Understand that setbacks are part of the process. You'll have days when old patterns resurface. When this happens, avoid shame or self-criticism. These reactions only deepen the emotional spiral. Instead, observe with curiosity. Interesting, that really triggered me. What can I learn from this? As your practice deepens, you'll discover that indifference isn't the final destination. It's a gateway. Beyond indifference lies discernment, the wisdom to know what deserves your emotional engagement and what doesn't. You'll still feel deeply, perhaps more deeply than before, but you'll feel strategically, investing emotional energy where it serves your highest purpose. This discernment transforms not just how you respond to life, but how you create it. No longer driven by reactive emotions, you operate from a place of clarity and purpose. Your decisions align with your values rather than your triggers. Your actions emerge from vision rather than fear. Remember, true strength isn't shown by how loudly you react, but by how calmly you respond. Master indifference, and you master life itself. The practices I've shared aren't just techniques. They're invitations to a different way of being, a way characterized by freedom rather than compulsion, choice rather than reaction, power rather than victimhood. This path has transformed my life and countless others. It can transform yours too. But knowledge alone changes nothing. Implementation is everything. Will you begin today? Will you choose power over reactivity? Will you commit to mastering your emotional responses? The quality of your life depends on your answer. If you found value in this video, hit subscribe for more wisdom on mastering your mind. Comment below with one situation where you'll practice emotional detachment this week. Until next time, stay powerful, stay composed, and remember, nothing can touch you unless you allow it.